Some would say coolness is subjective. I say otherwise. Sometimes things just have the vibes. And here are 10 of the coolest, affordable bikes you can get. I don't make the rules. Alright, I'm just kidding. But I do think there are some bikes out there with that certain je ne sais quoi. Vavavoom.
What is Vavavoom?
That are also affordable. Or affordable in their own category, at least. In no particular order, the Cannondale CAAD series are aluminium racing bikes, starting with the CAAD 3 in 1997, which evolved from the 2.8, which was also a very cool bike. Then they made a CAAD 4, a CAAD 5, a CAAD 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, no 11, and a 12. And what we have now, which is the CAAD 13, or 14, depending on how long I take to edit this video. They were made in the USA up to the CAAD 9, and then production moved to Asia in 2009. Cannondale set out to be the first mass producer of aluminium bikes while everyone else was still making steel. And they succeeded. CAD stands for Cannondale Advanced Aluminium Design. This range of bikes was massively popular and ended up being raced at a very high level as well. Look at the Seiko team bikes. Do bikes get cooler than that? The answer is no. They really nailed the design. The frames were stiff, generally. I think there was a couple of wobbles somewhere in the 6, 7, 8 era, but then they got stiffer again. And the paint jobs were always sick. Annoyingly, the coolest paint jobs you can get for the CAAD 13 seem to be frame set only, and then when you go on the website, they're all out of stock. And all the coolest paint jobs are just paint jobs they ripped off the older models, so maybe eBay is your best bet. They also dropped the seat stays on the 13 versus the 12, which is a shame aesthetically. Maybe it rides better, but let's face it, you want that classic look. The newest CAAD 13 is about £999 for a frame set, but also they are racing bikes that can be raced at a very high level, so I think they get a pass in their category. They're affordable. And the 10987s can be found online for a steal. Check them out. The Massacan Paula, or Paula, or Scapada, or anything made by Massacan for that matter, because they all offer something in the small print, which I'll discuss in a minute. They're a small French brand, 3 people, they do road bikes, gravel bikes, and a rigid mountain bike with a rock and roll vibe. The owners are also musicians. They take some of their paint job inspiration from Fender custom shop guitars. You cannot argue that's not cool. There's other cool stuff painted on the frames, and they're made in Italy. And here's the coolest bit. £1,248 for the gravel frame, but you get fully custom geometry if you want it. Full custom for that price is ridiculous. That is the reason they are cool and why they're in this video. Now, if everyone ordered custom from them, I think they'd start to struggle. But if you're a person who needs custom geometry, maybe you're the shape of a T-Rex, or maybe you have limited flexibility, or you just have really specific needs from a bicycle, then this could be a way of getting rolling, which is amazing, and I'm so glad they exist. Just don't take the piss with it. Their other aluminium frame sets are similarly priced. They do a road bike with massive tire clearance, so maybe it's not a dedicated road bike, but they call it a road bike. And they do a carbon bike, which is also cool, but not affordable, so I'll pixelate it for this video. Great little brand, check them out. The Primos Dame. We reviewed one of these recently after you guys sent in one to be roasted by us, and it is cool as hell, and the best value gravel bike I've seen. It's a hardy steel frame, which only costs 300 quid on its own. The full builds are really well thought out as well, with some lesser seen parts like microshift sword. It's big tire clearance, tubeless compatible wheels with massive 27mm internal width and high spoke count, and all the finishing kit is just not shit for the price of £675. There is some import taxes, duties, and things to think about, which makes it slightly more expensive, but frankly, it's still a good deal, even with that, if you're in the UK. If you're in America, it's a banging deal, just buy one. Have it as a spare bike. Buy one now. It's not just the value that makes this cool, it's got a face on it. I was riding with a few friends, and we were stopped at a cafe, and we were just looking at the bike, thinking how cool it was, regardless of the price. Equally as cool is the Primos Super Dame. They also make a higher spec version of the Dame with a carbon fork, bigger 700C wheels, and an electronic and hydraulic group set from L2, which we don't see in many places. It's still got a face, because it's the same frame, so the vibes are high. but you're getting a bit more performance. The carbon fork is going to make the bike lighter, and the braking power should be a huge upgrade from the base model. Check it out. The Giant Contend. Wait, what are Giant doing in this video? The most boring bike brand in the world. Well, I think they get a bit of a bad rap, and they aren't quite as boring as people make them out to be. But also, this is cool because they are one of the few big brands to still be making a rim brake entry-level bike. Trek did a cool one that we tested. It's so nice, but it is gone from their website. Specialized Alley used to do a rim brake one. Gone. Cannondale still do one called the CADE Optimo, and I almost chose it for this video, but then I looked at the price, and the Giant is £150 less, 750 quid versus £900 for pretty much identical spec. That makes the Giant cooler, and it looks better in my opinion. That is sleek for an entry-level bike. It's not anything fancy. Shimano 8-speed Claris group set. From what I can tell, this is a 2025 model because there's last year's paint jobs in the clearance section of their website. Weird, not all brands are speccing Qs yet, but I guess there's a lot of stock of Claris still that they need to get rid of. Of course, they do a disc brake one for a bit more money, but it's not as cool because it's disc. The brakes work better though. The Canyon Endurace Allroad broke the internet and now is out of stock as far as I can see. Well, unless you're a 2XL. We reviewed this one, and I think it's in the same realm for value for money as the Primos. It's a real good deal, and that means more people getting into cycling and having a good time because the bike is good and sticking with it, which means it's cool. And if the silver one is cool, this purple one is off the charts. For £949, you're getting an aluminium frame, carbon fork, rack mounts, mudguard mounts, tubeless ready rims, but the best bit? The new Shimano Qs with hydraulic brakes. We just don't see this anywhere else on bikes at this price point. Hydraulic discs inspire confidence, so people buying this bike will feel good and safe and ride more, and that is cool. Plus, did I mention the purple? We currently still have this bike in for long-term review, and we're doing our best to destroy it through British winter. So stay tuned, because at some point we'll find out if there's any weak areas. The Dolan Pre Cursa. I can't make a cool list without at least having one fixed gear bike in it, because fixed gear bikes are all incredibly cool. The Precursor is a long-running model from Dolan, which is a British brand. It's actually a track bike, so what is used on a velodrome to race round and round. There is no freewheel, so you cannot freewheel. Your legs just keep on spinning, and if you try and stop, you crash and die. People get really good at riding them, and they end up being able to skid and slow down safely. You would use a front brake on the road, at least. They're popular with bike messengers because of their simplicity, and there's not a lot to go wrong when you remove the freewheels, derailleurs, and some brakes. In the UK, at least, you'd always see Dolans around, and they were always ridden by people who knew their shit. The Precursor is labelled as a starter track bike, but it's been ridden to World Cup wins, so I guess this proves it's the legs, not the bike. So I own one of these. It's the bike that I leave down in London, and then when I'm there, I can go and ride it around the streets and have a good time. And I got it off a cool guy called Max, who runs a bike shop called The Cyclery in Lewisham. He's a mechanic, and he put this bike together with hand-built wheels exactly to the spec he wanted, and then sold it. And then missed it, so I think he put it back together again exactly the same, sourced all the parts, made it perfect, and then sold it. And then missed it, so then he put it back together. I think he's made like 100 of these bikes. It's aluminium, stiff as hell, and the front fork comes drilled for a front brake, so it's not going to be just resigned to the track. Practical. Affordable? Yes, especially when you look on eBay, because clearly lots of people take up track racing, realize that it's quite expensive or a bit of a faff, end up selling their bikes, or maybe they get really into track racing, and then they upgrade to some sort of Batman bike and sell their older ones. So there is some extremely good deals to be had. Check them out. The State 4130 Allroad. What does Allroad even mean? I thought Allroad was supposed to be bikes that were in between gravel bikes and road bikes, but look at this. Look at the tire clearance on this. It's just a gravel bike. Labeling aside, this bike is very cool. Look at it. It's purple. Maybe it's just purple things that are cool. We found the source of cool. State bikes are based in the USA, and most of their models are only available in the USA, which is a massive shame, including this one. It's $999, with a choice of 650 or 700C wheels, both tubeless ready, chromoly steel frame with a million mounting options, dropper post compatible, wide range of gears, and what looks to be a rebranded sensor group set, which is very unusual. This is unconfirmed though, but it does look like it. I haven't ridden one of these bikes, but I have ridden the road and gravel versions of sensor group sets, which this might or might not be, and they were both excellent. So my prediction is that this bike is probably also pretty good. And it's affordable. They have loads of different upgrade options like a carbon fork, 2 sets of wheels if you want both sizes for a discount, and even a suspension fork. It's cool to see bikes at this price point with well thought through upgrade options. Good job, State. That is some number of bikes that are cool. I'm going to have missed some. Let me know what you think of the coolest bikes that aren't £1 million down in the comments below. See you guys soon.